So when we were looking to upgrade our system, it was quite the process, and we actually looked at 3 or 4 different providers, and we narrowed it down to Paragon because they had great bench strength. And what I mean by that is, even from the first time we met, not only did the individual who was selling their product come to the meeting, but they had those people and individuals that were installing the product. So when we had questions about exactly how this piece of equipment is going to work, the individual who knew that the answer to that was right there and able to help us through that process.
First Baptist Church Springfield is a historic church with a lot of rich history in its architecture. And what comes along with that most of the time is long reverb time, because that church, when it was built primarily for organ and choir performance. So when you have that scenario, a lot of times speech intelligibility tends to fade. So the challenge that we had was to ensure that the choir and organ performance, which is still a fundamental part of their worship, was maintained, while at the same time offering them a speaker system that maintained high speech capability.
When we were trying to find someone that we felt comfortable with to upgrade the system we currently have, a lot of the providers we were looking at were just trying to sell us one key, if you will, that would fit all doors. But Paragon really wasn't doing that. They gave us more options, and they provided a lot more keys based on the door we were trying to work with.
As we were looking at the design of this system, it became very important in our choice to ensure that the loudspeaker system was very accurate and very focused, because the church elected to not add acoustic treatment into their facility to maintain the level of choir and organ performance in their services. That required us, as we do with all of our jobs, to build their sanctuary in EASE, which is an acoustical modeling program. And once we had the model built, it allowed us to put multiple manufacturers of loudspeakers in there to see how they behave in that space, and ultimately for us to be able to choose the best speaker system for their space and for their budget.
Well, when you think about a worship experience, you immediately jump to just the musical side. But more than just the music, the spoken word has become much more clear since the new system's been put in our space. It was very hard to understand the spoken word, a lot of bouncing around, and so clarity has drastically improved overall with spoken word as well as music for our worship.
We're involved in a lot of meetings before we do any design work to try and understand the makeup of the church and difficulties they face, so we can present ideas to make them as good as possible. You know, it really comes around to the reason we do what we do is to help people, help churches reach their goals.
We used to have a personal monitor system for some of our older members who couldn't hear very well. All of those have been returned to us because they no longer need it. They can hear directly from the speaker without any assistance. So I think we definitely got what we were looking for.